The fact that this has been going on is almost it's almost unbearable to these people. So they're taking one side, and they always have, right? You might not agree with their methods, right? But to the Palestinian people, they're the only ones that fight back against this occupation. Israel is such an important strategic partner in the Middle East for the United States that no matter what Israel does, they're going to support it. For example, we have the Ukraine situation, right? Ukraine did not have to be in this war, right? But because they sided with the United States and because the United States was siding with them, right? That was Russia's red line.
Do you think like the United States and like all these other like superpowers, like why aren't they like trying to be like, you know, there's people fighting, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't they just jump in the middle and be like, yo, like, let's figure this out?
Yeah, the United States, I think, let me address the international order. I think people who say that this is against international law, this is against laws of war, I think they have no clue what's going on in reality.
Oh.
I think international order is basically fed by, contained by, and subjected to the United States. It's subjected to whoever is the most powerful. When the Russia-Ukraine happened, right, basically what they say, Putin was a war criminal, Russia was breaking international law, they should prosecute Putin, right? But why are these things not being applied here? The same events are happening, right? So these international laws and stuff, they're not objective entity. They're subjected to basically what the United States says. So you have international law, which one would think should be like bipartisan. It should be like objective. Like you break this, you have to like be punished for it. No, it only applies when the United States of America says it applies. Because when the United States says it applies, everybody else follows, right? So it's one of those things where it's unfortunate that the international system is like that. Secondly, to your point, you have Israel is such an important strategic partner in the Middle East for the United States that no matter what Israel does, they're going to support it, right? So I think it's a problem that they did, because they're almost like putting gas over the fire.
Yeah.
Because instead of them coming in as, fair mediators, they're taking one side, and they always have, right? Once you do that, the side that you're supporting is just going to get more and more confident.
Yeah.
They're going to say, well, we could do whatever we want. We have the support of the United States. You know what I mean?
Do you think, what's it called? Do you think it's because of Iran? Because Iran doesn't like the West? Do you think that's the reason why they're...
Oh yeah, Iran is always going to be a huge player in the Middle East. And I think that's exactly why the United States wants to keep like a strategic partner in the Middle East. Because if you think about it, just from a military perspective, right? If anything were to happen between Iran and the United States, you have a state, which is Israel, ready to, where you can land your troops, where you can land your airplanes, where you can land your military equipment, where you can like launch attacks from, right? And additionally, they will join the fight as well. So from a military perspective, from a strategic point of view, it is very important for the United States to stay with Israel and support Israel, right? So I think it is definitely like a huge player in the Middle East.
They don't want to risk that having that alliance because they're just right next to
exactly. They basically like throw everything under the rug because they want to have a strong alliance with Israel. Because not because they love Israel, but because of the strategic importance that Israel is.
Yeah.
Right? If Israel was of no strategic importance, I don't think the United States would care much.
Yeah.
But it is a crucial strategic partner.
You don't think they'll ever like let that go and be like, this, how do I say it? Bigger things at stake?
That's the problem with the United States. The United States does not have limits. They don't have any sense of we should stop. The only thing the United States is concerned with is making sure that they are all over the world, right? Their influence is global, that they don't diminish that power. And I think that's what they are concerned with.
They're the most powerful, are they the most powerful right now?
The United States?
Yeah.
Militarily, yes. And I think militarily is the most important thing.
That's crazy. Because they literally came from, did they come from Britain or from England? Or
Britain.
From Britain? It's kind of like they started off as a colony and now they're like Britain.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is crazy. And you could look at it and it is impressive. It is impressive. But the problem is, once that power becomes so much, that you are starting to go to places where there seems to be no interest. There seems to be no logical reason for you to be there, and then you assert yourself there. You are then causing the world to become more dangerous. You're causing the world to become a dilemma, right? You're making it volatile to wars. And I think that's the problem they're facing now. Like, for example, we have the Ukraine situation, right? Ukraine did not have to be in this war, right? But because they sided with the United States, and because the United States was siding with them, right? That was Russia's red line. So it was one of those things where, like, every time they poke their nose, it seems like they make things a bit worse than they were, right? So
I guess with great power comes like great responsibility.
The only responsibility they're doing is, like, they're taking responsibility for all the bad things going on. That's the problem. You would think that maybe also, like, the geography of the world is, like, on their side so much. Like, they don't have anything to worry about in their hemisphere. You know what I mean? Like, they don't. Their neighbors are what? Canada, Mexico. They don't have anyone to worry about. Right? So now they're jumping across the pond and, like, basically
stirring the pot there. Yeah, let's see what these guys are saying over here.
So you'd think maybe they would try and, like, do things in a way where it's like, let's make those people good. Instead, they kind of make it worse. So that's
to benefit themselves in a way. So I guess dipping their hand in Israel, trying to say like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Because I guess because they know Iran doesn't like him, so that's why they're trying.
100%. So that's definitely a crucial reason. It's just unfortunate because I think Palestinian people deserve the same amount of rights and the same amount of opportunity as Israelis do, as Jewish people do, and as everybody else does, right? But the fact that this has been going on is almost it's almost unbearable to these people. So you look at it and they have right now, in the midst of this war, they have this ideology that they're going to wipe off Hamas. How are you going to wipe off an organization that for many is the only legitimate thing or entity that is protecting them, right? You might not agree with their methods, right? But to the Palestinian people, they're the only ones that fight back against this occupation, right? So you're gonna and Hamas has always, like, claimed that Israelis are killing their people, taking their land, and doing all this harm to them. And every time this happens, Israel proves their point again and again. So my question would be, how are you gonna solve that Hamas problem by doing exactly what Hamas says you do? So you're telling me that
if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast, click right here.